Good afternoon, everyone. Sean Joyce here with you live from the Curling Stadium Martensville International. Men's semifinal action on tap this afternoon. They're going to feature the game between Colton Flasch and Riku Yanagisawa. This is a rematch for both of these teams. They played in their very opening preliminary round game back on Thursday evening. Colton Flasch has continued to dominate through his 5 preliminary round games, comes into this as the #1 seed in the playoffs, having rattled off 5 straight wins. Yanagisawa has played all 4 of the other playoff teams in the preliminary round, got the rematch with Steve Laycock this morning in the quarterfinal. Came out victorious there and has moved into the semifinal by virtue of that, and this is the only other team that he lost to in the preliminary round. Looking for a rematch and perhaps a revenge victory here as well. Play underway here in the first end. We're into second stones. Colton Flasch with last rock here in the opening end. Throwing the red stones. They've got last rock. They're sitting shot rock at the corner of the button. Yanagisawa looking for the guard here. Flasch now may perhaps feeling that double peel is a little difficult. You hate to leave the blue-red combination in the house get forced. He's going to come wide around their corner guard and see if he can't sit 2 right now. Outstanding event here in Martensville, outside the ice all week long. Lots of finish around the guards. Couldn't ask for more drama. 14 preliminary rounds. Everybody played 5 games in the preliminary to set themselves up for the playoffs. And when we got to the last draw last night, all 4 games on the ice still had playoff implications. You can't ask for more than that. That draw comes a little deep, sits in the back 8 foot. Continues to be Flasch sitting 1 on the corner of the button. The blue stone belonging to Yanagisawa, just nibbling the top of the 4 foot, his second shot. The other men's semifinal right beside as Yannick Schwaller against Mike McEwen. And the women's semifinals on as well. Silvana Tiranzoni against Chelsea Carey and Yunji Kim playing against Clancy Grandy. All of those games available on Curling Stadium. Or anything like me, you've got a lot of windows open, keeping an eye on all of them, and we'll try to keep up to date on the scores as well if you want to stick with us. Yanagisawa looking to play the same draw here now that the Flasch team played was a little bit heavy, wants to cut this off at least. Might be able to leave himself an angle onto shot rock as well. And this one looks like it might be a little bit strong too. Flasch meets it at the tee line. Does hang on for a nibble of the back 4, but that's deep enough. If he can get to the face of it, you'd be sitting 2, and you'd have this Japanese squad in a little bit of trouble. Catelyn Schneider throws the third stones for Colton Flasch in the hacks, looking to make the out-turn draw. See if he can't freeze down to that stone that was just thrown. Nothing out of the brushers so far. Waiting for the curl, and this one might be a little strong as well. Comes down, nudges off that stone just a little bit. Continues to be Yanagisawa with second and third. Shot rock, still the Flasch stone at the top of the button. And another attempt at this out-turn draw, see if they can get into the corner of the forefoot. The in-turn's available as well, it's just you can't get under any cover playing the in-turn. Colton Flasch would like to be the one to get in here first and save that in-turn for his final stone, perhaps have a chance at 3. Yanagisawa knows that. Don't know that he can get shot playing this out-turn, but he takes away Colton Flasch's chance to get more than 2, certainly. If he can leave it a little bit higher, could leave himself an angle to play the blue onto the red. Nice line by the guard this time. Sweepers are close. And this time brings it down to the top corner of the forefoot. Second, third, and fourth belonging to Yanagisawa. Colton Flasch. First indication was try to get to the inside of that. I don't know if you can. Talking about the fact that they know they've got that in-turn draw. It's just if you play it now, you could leave a hit and roll into the button area. So they're going to play that out-turn draw one more time. He did talk about as well, if they stay on the high side, the broom side corner, they might have an angle run on it. So I'm not sure if they've settled on trying to get to the inside corner, or if they're just going to play the corner freeze on the broom side, give themselves a chance to move this blue one later. A little bit of brush out of his hand, but he's still got room by the guard. Now actually sweeping the offside, looking for some extra curl, so they are trying to get to the face. Got nice weight. It's just a question of whether this is going to curl enough. Comes down to the blue, nudges it up just a little bit, but continues to be Yanagisawa with second, third, and fourth. Might be a bit of an angle available now to just chip that redstone that was just delivered into the forefoot and get second shot out of it. Certainly doesn't look to be much left on that side that Yanagisawa could play. So looking to play a stone into what they're talking about here appears to be looking to play a stone into the path. They don't really have a path right now to get to the blue stone at the top of the forefoot, promote it onto shot stone. So they want to put something in that path. Another option would be to just throw a wider guard here and take away Colton Flasch's path to the forefoot. Have to be pretty precise with that, though. If you come too close to the center line, Colton Flasch will just loop around it and try to get his 2 that way. So a setup shot here really needs to get something into position where he can promote it onto the blue stone top of the forefoot. Try to get that onto shot rock. That'll be what he's looking to play on his last one. Colton Flasch already standing back. You saw him move over to the corner. He's looking at an angle on something. think this curled a little more than what they had in mind. It's going to leave a third guard touching the center line. Probably takes away any kind of run backs that might be available there. And doesn't really take away this in-turn draw either. Colton looking at playing that in-turn draw now. Still might have the chance if he wanted to play it. The out-turn tap on the stone that was just delivered by Catlin Schneider, a little bit of an angle, but when you play that, your shooter rolls over. You might leave a double. So that might be a shot he saves for his final one for an extra point if it's still there. Colton Flasch has had last rock in the opening end of every game they have played this week, and they have put all kinds of pressure on their opposition. Sitting one here already and a chance to bring a second one in. Wants to just tuck a piece around his own red stone at the top of the button. He won't be able to bury all of it, but if you bury a good piece and don't leave the edge of the rock where it could be driven into the shot stone, there's a jam possibility at the back. It could make this one very difficult to remove. Precise draw, but we've seen him make these all week. Rusher's waiting for the line, really. Now they had to wait a little bit for the line. He does catch a piece of the forefoot, but it is just third shot, I believe, right now. Riku probably looking at just make the hit, stay right there. Colton Flasch is going to have that little angle tap on the out turn to possibly get 2 points, but you can't take away both shots, I don't think. They were talking about could they get to the inside of the red stone that was just delivered and nudge their own stone at the top of the forefoot over and maybe take the shot away that way. If you do that, you might leave another in-turn draw. One thing you will see with this Yanagisawa squad is that when they get into these tight situations with a lot of rocks in play, you will get all four members involved in taking a look at the house. Everybody wants to have an idea where you're looking to hit a rock, how much roll you want. Final stone here in the opening end for Yanagisawa without last rock. Flasch sitting one, trying to prevent him from having a shot for two. Takes the hit, stays right there. Should take away the draw on the in-turn side, and the only shot left for Colton Flasch to try to get to is a thin angle tap on the red stone that was put there by Catlin Schneider. Have to be so careful with a shot like this too. If you tap it onto the blue with enough weight to move the blue, blue's corner frozen to a red and it's going to spill in towards the middle. So you're looking to hit a very thin piece of your own stone and still have to have enough weight on it to move it a foot anyway. front one now, looking for that last little bit of curl. He had to throw that little bit extra weight because he was hitting it so thin. And with that little bit extra weight, doesn't get the curl, just touches that stone. Not enough to move it into the forefoot. It'll be a single point for Colton Flasch here in the opening end. Yanagisawa with last rock in the second.
For victims of domestic abuse, fleeing may mean leaving everything behind. There is hope. SaskTel provides brand new cell phones so that starting over is possible. Learn more at sasktel.com/freshstart.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
Second end just underway. Colton Flasch with a single point in the opening end. Now the Yanagisawa team with last rock as we begin the second. Flasch throws up the center guard. Now you're going to see the corner. Satoshi Koizumi is the lead for this Yanagisawa team. 3 of these 4 players played together last year. The second, Takiro Yamamoto, is the new player on the team. Skip and third have switched positions, and I think if I've got my information correctly, Kazumi was playing second last year, has moved down to lead. But 3 players very familiar with each other. And of course, the Colton Flasch foursome, one of the few teams, well, certainly in Canada, really, you could say in the world, that has had no changes since last year to start the new quadrennial with the exact same squad they had last year. Certainly looks early on in this event like that's been a bit of an advantage for them. They are firing like a team that knows each other very well. Playing the tight guard around their longer one, so they've got the 2 center guards set up already. Nagasawa's first thought was to split the tighter guard off the center line. You can't kill it. They were looking at playing a draw weight split just to get it off center. Try to get the shooter in behind the corner that way. Looks like that's what they settled on. They also talked about just drawing around the corner straight, but gonna play the little split on the tight center guard. Push it into the rings, that won't bother them. The main thing here is to get it off the center line, and if you could, try to get your shooter in behind the corner guard as well. Boy, really nice attempt. Gets the stone off the center line. Probably got a piece behind the corner. Forces Colton Flasch to deal with it. Kevin Marsh is the second. His brother Dan on the brush. Callum Schneider the third on the other side, waiting for a call that it needs to curl. Makes the hit, the roll back towards that center guard. Not quite fully buried. He gets a sliver underneath. Yanagisawa looking at the double now. If he can make the double, probably stays buried behind the center guard. Rushers jumped this right out of his hand. Makes contact on the first, straight into the side of the second. Shooter stays right there. He is buried. Great shot by Yamamoto, and now puts a little pressure on the Flasch team. They're going to be able to make a play on that stone, but have to do it with quiet weight, and even if they make it, going to have to roll away from the center guard. Looping for that little extra curl right now. Makes the hit. Shooter will roll over and hang on for shot rock, full 12 foot. Plenty of room now, though, for Yamamoto to try to roll underneath the center guard. Again, sweeping for that bit of extra curl at the end. Gets up to the nose, but not able to make the roll. Leaves it for Colton Schneider to try. Once again, we see the offside sweep trying to get some curl. Needs to come up a little bit more if he's going to stay this time. Makes the hit. Shooter will stay in play, but rolls out of the rings. Four stones left to come for Yanagisawa. A chance to either come around the corners, try to set up your deuce. You could loop around that center guard. Does belong to the opposition, and you'd like to keep the play away from the center if you could. He also thought to peel it. Getting kind of late in the end to peel unless you're thinking blank. So Yoshi Yamaguchi is the third. Looking for the come around on the corner guard. Nothing out of the brushers yet. He's got a lot of room. I think they might have been asking to sweep for curl, and you saw Yamamoto give the no we can't signal. That's kind of universal. Doesn't matter what language you speak. No, we can't. This might be deep. Comes to rest on the tee line, does get a fair bit behind the cover. We saw Kevin Marsh with his first stone make a gentle hit and roll on a stone in a similar position, a little bit higher. Colton Schneider now look to make the play on that stone that's probably at least half behind cover. Roll back towards the middle. Nice line coming in. That quiet weight, not able to get much of a roll. Sits right there. Not 100% sure the weight signals for this Japanese squad, but I did see them give the fist to the hip a few times yesterday for bumper. So when you're touching the knee like that, you got to think this is probably hack weight, very similar to the weight Catlin Schneider just threw. A little bit more room by the guard than Schneider had, looking for some extra curl here. We're going to make the hit, but flops out just a little bit more into the open. Colton Flasch now with probably all of that blue stone available from the hacks, can throw a little bit more weight, try for the longer roll in behind that center guard. Colton Flasch first stone here in the second end. Without last rock, looking to hit and roll behind cover. Just waiting on the line, he's close. Oh, might have curled a little bit too much on him at the end. They let that get away. He gets a bit of a roll, but stays in the open. And really now, Yanagisawa can try to roll behind either guard. Talked about them both. I think you're probably leaning in this situation towards rolling behind your own corner guard. If you ever roll behind the center and made it absolutely perfect, you force Colton Flasch to play the run back. Well, he is one of the best at making those run backs. You roll behind your own corner, he's not going to be running anything back. He might try to corner freeze it. He makes it perfect. You've got the entire middle of the house to score your single. Chance, though, with a good roll to put some pressure on. Possibly pick up your deuce here in the second end. Across the face. Gonna make contact, but a little bit thin on the first stone, and the shooter will roll too far all the way out of the rings. That quiet weight and a little bit of a spin back at the end. Not 100% sure that that red one is out at the back. It's close. I've seen 3 people look at it so far. Doesn't really matter to this shot. It's not going to change the call here. Colton Flasch looking to come around that center guard now. Where it could matter is for Yanagisawa on his last one. If that stone might be biting, you don't have a chance to blank. You can see a little bit of white back there when you're looking from the hack end camera, but of course it's the overhead view that matters. Any portion of that rock is over top any portion of the rings, it's in. Colton Flasch with the in-turn draw. Rushers picking it up a little bit early. Got room by the guard. Now looking to drag it back as far as they can, get it buried. Threw that one really to the brushers. They get it half in the 8 foot. A little bit out from behind cover. There might be room there to pick it. Just looking for confirmation from the hack how much they can see. No hesitation on the call, so they must think that back one is out for sure. Boy, really nice try by Colton Flasch on the draw. Threw it the way you want to throw a rock like that. Give your sweepers a chance to pull it in behind. He's got another foot and a half weight on that. They can drag that right to fully buried. Yanagisawa probably has to draw for one here. This still has to be made. He can only see about a third of the rock. Sweeping for that last little bit of curl, catches a couple of inches. That's more than enough to drive it out of the rings. Take a quick look around the outside, and I think they decided it's out, so it's a blank end here in the second. Colton Flasch continues to lead by a score of 1-0. Sean Joyce with you here live from the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. Third end about to get underway in this men's semifinal. Daniel Marsh, the lead for the Flash team. Being asked to throw the tight center guard. I've been on the call for the Flash games so far in this event, and one thing I can tell you is in a close game like this, they're going to continue to put the pressure on. They're not going to start throwing rocks in the rings until they've got a pretty good lead. They want to put pressure on their opposition, and they have done an excellent job of that all week long. Koizumi now looking to throw the corner guard. And you saw the call, Daniel Marsh being asked to come around that center. Sweepers had to wait for the line, but now trying to bring it back as far as they can to bury it. Comes to rest just nibbling the top of the 8 foot, probably 2/3 behind cover. Fourth rock of the end about to be delivered. You can see a piece of that stone. You could make a play on it, but if you ever killed the guard, it would go back. So Yanagisawa looking to use his corner guard right now. And this has got a lot of room coming by the guard as well, so on the offside sweep, looking for a little extra curl. Needs to get some finish to get in behind. Oh, great job by the brushers. Pulls that stone in again, just biting the 8-foot. Might be second shot right now, but mostly behind cover. And even with the amount that is buried, we saw how much it came by the guard by. There should be room to make a play on it for Kevin Marsh. They are throwing this with very quiet weight. If you touch the guard, and we saw them do this once earlier in the event, touch the guard on a shot like this and just push it a little closer to the side. It's essentially a tick shot. You cannot remove it from play, however. By the guard, sweeping for some last little bit of extra curl. Actually gets good movement by the guard, hits about half, drives it out the back, and just for good measure, let's roll behind cover, biting the top of the button. Is that any good? Sixth rock of the end about to be delivered. A little bit of trouble now for Yanagisawa and asking second man to clean this up. This just off the nose over the top of the one at the top of the 8-foot. Could get all three reds moving. Just drives it by. Colton Flasch now looking to replace that guard. Saw him indicating he wants to keep it in line with the stone at the top of the 12-foot. Give him angle on that stone. That's how he gets a chance to get all three of them. This has got a lot of curling to do if it's going to get dead lined up to that stone. They don't want to bring it too tight either. Good line on that stone. Nothing else the Yanagisawa squad can do but try to run it through again. Still a chance to get all three of them moving. They're in a line like that. Might be hard to get all three of them out of the ring, but I'd love to get at least two off the center line, and again, drives it right by everything. Another attempt at the guard for the Flash team, this time Caitlin Schneider. One more time. This one may be a little bit tighter to the rings. Yamaguchi now looking to see if he can move at least two of these. With the lineup, it wouldn't be impossible to get all three of them moving. It'd be tough to get them all out. Catches one, clips the second, does catch the third, and boy, good alertness by the sweeper. Brushed that back, gets it out of the rings and all the way out of play. Shooter stays for a second corner guard. Just like that, everything in this third end is flipped over to advantage Yanagisawa. Colton Flasch has a decision to make, and that's what they're talking about. Their three choices. Could throw another center guard. Come around the corner, but you know if you do that, they're just going to follow you down, try to sit on the corner, and maybe get their deuce. The other option, draw full 4-foot on the open side so that anything they use to come around won't be shot rock. Alan Schneider may be looking at the double peel as well. That's an option. A lot of space between those rocks, though. It's a tough double peel. In the end, it looks like they've opted to play one more center guard. Kind of trying to put the ball in Yanagisawa's court here and say, look, you can go around your double corners if you want, but there's always a chance we might just ignore you and go around our center and try to steal. First indication from Yanagisawa is he doesn't want to give them that chance to get around the center guard first. He'd like to get there. Thought about coming from the intern side. You know, in a lot of cases, especially if you're playing a shot like this earlier on in the end, you'd play on the side that your corner guards are on, because that might set up a hit and roll over to that direction. But we're late enough in the end that I don't think you want to let Colton Flasch hit and roll even behind corners. You might get forced. Thought when they were discussing it, they might have been deciding to draw around their corners, but sticking with the call to come around that tight red guard. Yamaguchi and the Hack still doesn't look 100% sold on this, and you know, I understand what he's thinking. It's always a little scary going around the opposition's center guard when you've got last rock, especially a guard that tight against a team that you know runs things back so well. Rushers were on a little early. They must like the wait. Waiting for the line. Starting to curl now. Brings it into the top button area, and it is dead in behind cover. Colton Flasch looking to just follow it down, sit on the face, maybe a little bit on the corner, give himself two ways to get at it. You sit on the corner, you've got a chance to maybe make a direct play onto your own stone with the last one, or you could play the run back. Don't really need to move this stone. If you just make the freeze right now, really shrinks the scoring area for Yanagisawa, and with the position of that corner guard, it would be tough to make an intern draw to the other side of the 4-foot. Colton Flasch, a lot of room by the guard here. This might be a little bit strong. You come by the blue stone and come to rest back forefoot. It is second shot. And I think far enough back that Yanagisawa has room to come to his own stone and probably sit two. Critical here, though, if he's trying to play to his own stone, he's got to get close to the nose. If you're only frozen on the corner of it, we'll give Colton Flasch the chance to play the run back double. Which he might play even if you're close to the nose, but then he probably loses the stone at the back of the forefoot as well. First stone of the third end here for Riku Yanagisawa. With last rock sitting one. Looking to come down to it, and that hand signal I think would suggest that there may be concerned it's on the heavier side of the weight already. I think Yamaguchi in the house is maybe looking to freeze the back one. No? Weight's not bad at all. They just had to wait for it to curl. Now trying to bring it right to the base of their own. Wow, what a great draw. Welded right on the face of his own. Catlin Schneider indicating some kind of a pick. It's got to be a run pick, because I don't think you can see enough of it to just play it without. And even at that, I don't think the top one's going anywhere. There's also the danger if you try to play the run back and hit the, looking at the overhead view, if you ever hit the top blue stone on the right-hand side from the overhand view, that back stone is going to drag right into the stone at the back forefoot. So I think what Colton has decided is we're going to try to come down, basically draw down to the stone that he threw on the first one, maybe not all the way to it. Hard to get shot rock here, but he could get second and make it very difficult to remove that stone. Big shot here for Colton Flasch, a little warm on his first draw. This end, chance to follow the stone down, needs to just be about a foot lighter on that same line. You can get second shot here and make the last one for Yanagisawa pretty difficult. Pressures were on this one earlier. Still got a lot of room. Needs to be second shot. Hard to say. I couldn't see whether that maybe touched the blue stone on the way by. It looked like it had lots of room coming in, but the way it was curling, I thought he'd be closer to edge. That actually leaves about an inch of air, and there's room for Yanagisawa to make the double. Just peeking at the replay myself, and no, he just came by with that amount of room. A big shot here for Riku Yanagisawa. If he can get to the nose, make the double, could pick up 3 here. Might not even need the double. His shooter might be far enough in to be third shot on its own if he just makes the nose hit. Makes the hit, does clip the back one. 3 points on the board for Riku Yanagisawa. He has a 3-1 lead over Colton Flasch as we go into the fourth end.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? You can get a grant to help. We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. It's easy. SaskTel has already given away tens of thousands of dollars. There have been lots of great ideas, including kids giving cookies to others, a group set up to welcome newcomers to their school, random acts of kindness, and so much more. The ideas and opportunities are endless. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Outstanding shot by Riku Yanagisawa with his final stone, makes the double, picks up 3 points. This is a team, mentioned it off the top, through their 5 preliminary round games. They played each and every one of the other 4 teams that made it to the playoffs. They lost their final preliminary round game to Steve Laycock, had a chance for a rematch this morning in the quarterfinal, picked up the revenge win there. Their only other loss in the preliminary round was to this Colton Flasch team. It was their first game back on Thursday. Looking for a win in the rematch here, and they put themselves in a strong position early with the 3 points in the third. And it also puts Colton Flasch in a position he hasn't been in yet this week. He's behind on the scoreboard. They have not trailed yet this week. That first stone being brought into the corner of the forefoot. They'll ask for the corner guard now from Daniel Marsh. Gesture suggests to me that they might be playing this one out front. It is a good stone in the house, but I thought they might bring a second one in as well. So even with the 2-point lead, the call here for a second center guard. Pardon me, a center guard on the one already in the forefoot. This is going to slide into the rings, and I don't think they'll be too upset by that. You put 2 in the middle. You know that Colton Flasch likely going to have to ignore them down 2. You can always guard on the next one or bring a third one into the middle if you'd like. So looking to come around the corner guard here. They had briefly discussed maybe throwing a corner on the other side, but opting to come in. Buries that stone at the corner of the 8-foot. Still just 4 stones having been delivered. Can't go up and peel that corner guard yet, so they're going to follow that down, try to sit on the corner. Rushers were on this one early. already on the front one. Now they're trying to get it to curl past it so they don't push it into the rings. Gives the Flash team a chance to start dealing with those two stones in the middle. Could play the nose hit double. Might have been a suggestion coming from the hack end. The problem is you'd leave a double onto the stone in the corner. Colton's first thought was hit the one at the top, roll over to the open side. I think that's what they settled on, still playing the broom side roll. Makes the hit, actually just passes it by the blue stone at the top of the 4-foot. Doesn't really roll much at all. Double's there, it's thin. The only danger is if you ever catch that first one a little thick, you could jam it. So looking at peeling the corner guard. You could get the bonus here on the peel. If you're a little thin on the first one, come across and kill the stone that was just delivered. This team does throw the up weight really well. Makes the hit, comes across, touches that stone at the top of the 12. Not enough to kill it though, it actually just pushes it up into the 4-foot. Colton indicating there's probably a double there on those two. It is flat. There's a good look at it from the overhead view. With them being that close together though. Half a rock on the one in the 4-foot, you probably catch the back end of that other stone, push it straight out the side. If you're worried about a double off the center line one, I'm not sure guarding the corner one helps you. They're kind of conceding the double here now. It still has to be made, but if you think that they're going to make the double, you got to put this stone in a good spot where you might be able to keep it for a while. You still want to try to score 2 here. You don't have a lot to work with in terms of guards. They did talk about trying to come around that blue stone that's just covering the very edge of the 12-foot, but opting for the corner freeze on the blue stone, the shot stone at the corner of the button, and I don't know whether Kevin had the wrong rock or if they've got one that they feel is a little bit better for a draw like this. He switched it out. So looking to come down corner freeze that blue stone. He's currently sitting at shot rock, and this has got a lot of curling to do. Now sweeping just to get a little bit of a bump so they don't leave the triple. Probably made the double even easier, but I don't know if it catches the third one or not. If they don't move that any further than they did, might have left a chance to get all 3 of them. 2 doubles available now. He could play the nose hit on the one that was just thrown. Kill the 2 out of the 4-foot. It's close to being able to get rid of all 3 of them. Hit about half a rock on the first one. Will it touch the second one? Or is there too much space between them? Might it drive it by? They're looking at it. It's really close. Thing about playing this one is you're probably getting one double or the other for sure, and if the triple is there, you might get that as well. Yamaguchi with the big weight here. Looking for at least a double. Clips one, clips two, gets all three of them moving. Not quite enough to get the third one out of the rings. It does stay for second shot. Not really much for Colton Flasch to work with in the way of guards, so looking to use one of those two stones to freeze to. Thought about the corner freeze on the one in the wings. Going to play the same attempt at a freeze on the stone, just nibbling the button. They weren't close on the line on the last one, so they've tightened up the broom here. This one again, lots of room so far. Are they maybe going plan B, try come around it? Looking at that, they couldn't do much with the brush. This is going to be a little bit deep as well. Just hangs on to the back 12, so a little heavy there. A chance now for Yanagisawa to hit and sit three. Hesitation here, I think maybe just about how far do we want to roll. You've seen a tendency already from the Flash team to want to play these freezes, so tough spot for them to be in. If you just roll out here, I don't see any great freezes available. They're freezing to rocks in front of the tee line. You could just blast this out, but he probably wants to sit three for now. Takes a hit, just rolls over to sit full 8 foot, and it is Yanagisawa sitting three right now. And the Flash team all coming down to take a look at the situation. What angles do we have? Where do we want to put this stone? Can't see any chance for a blank right now, so you may as well try to score two. And how do you do that with no corner guards? You freeze the one on the corner, you still have two in the 4 foot and 8 foot to deal with. Talking about perhaps playing the hit on the stone at the corner of the button. Roll over, see if you can get these things grouped to have a double or perhaps triple opportunity and maybe bring that biter back into play at the back of the 12 foot. Also looking at playing the hit and roll off the stone on the edge of the 12 foot. Looks like that's going to be the one they opt for. Make a play on that stone at the edge of the 12 foot. Try to remove it. Roll your shooter over towards the middle somehow. You know that Yanagisawa is going to make a play on that stone, but maybe he leaves something grouped so that you've got a double or even perhaps a triple opportunity. If you can roll right in front of the blue stone at the back 8 foot, you might get a jam. Captain and I are looking for the hit and roll back towards the middle. Going to be pretty thin on this stone, but quiet weight. Removes the blue stone, it touches the divider, and his shooter actually rolls over and, boy, almost got in behind the blue and then spun back out into the open. It is Yanagisawa sitting shot and second shot right now, but two red stones in the rings. With a 2-point lead, you're not going to see Riku want to leave two reds, sitting back there. He's got access to the one that was just thrown. Question is, where do you want to roll? You don't want to hit right on the nose for sure. You'd leave a pocket back there. Even rolling out's not bad here. You hit and roll over behind your own stone at the top of the button. You might see Colton Flasch hit the one on the left from the hack view and roll into the one you're about to throw. If you roll behind your own at the back 8, you'll see him freeze down to that situation, and you might end up helping him when you try to blast it. You don't want to hit it on the nose. I'd be tempted to try to roll right out with this if you could. Kind of goes against your nature as a curler to roll out, but he doesn't need another rock back there right now. It's late enough in the end. You've probably got the force as long as you don't leave Colton Flasch something with this stone. Still on the edge of his own stone here. Curls up just enough. Drives it by the one at the back. Does roll his shooter out of play as well. Colton Flasch, just 2 stones left to come. No real good freeze opportunities. Obviously nothing to hide behind, so going to look to make a play on the shot stone, roll over in front of second shot, and hope he can get a bit of a mistake out of Yanagisawa and perhaps have a chance for either a deuce, or right now he would take an opportunity to blank the end if he could get it. There is a chance when he plays this hit, he's going to take out his own stone at the back of the 12 foot. He can't really worry about that. He's got to get the shooter into a good position. That stone at the back 12 foot just barely hanging on. If you touch it at all on the way by, it's probably gone. Nothing out of the Brushers so far waiting on the line, starting to curl now. He's got it thin enough to drive it by the one at the back. Now where does the shooter end up? Well, not enough weight to get the stone out with as thin as he hit it, and he rolls past the stone at the back of the 8-foot, so Yanagisawa continues to sit shot and third. And I think Kevin Marsh just pointing out to the Japanese, there was a bit of a sweeping infraction there. We had the one blue stone going towards the corner, and I think it was Kevin jumped on that. Somebody else sweeping the red one across. You can't have two sweepers behind the tee line. So great sportsmanship from the Flash team to point out that, yeah, we did this. It's up to you what you want to do about it. You can let the play stand. I think they might have had Bob Ursul, who is the coach of the Yanagisawa team, might have come out here, just probably speaks English a little better than his four players, to make sure that he understands what's going on. With where the rocks came to rest, I think it's probably in the best interest, and they are the non-offending team for Yanagisawa, to just allow the play to stand where it was. He can make the hit here. I don't even think he's got to stay. That blue across the house, you can see it from the overhead view. A lot of room between those rocks, and it's very flat. So looking to make the hit, a little offside sweep, looking for some curl now, trying to straighten it out. Makes the hit. Does roll over just about a foot and sits three. Colton Flasch, first indication, he's just going to play the draw for his single. He does have pocket there, he could play the double. After 5 games on this ice, playing as well as they have been, he feels pretty confident. He knows his draw weight, just needs a little bit better than full 8. Trailing by 2, facing 3. Colton Flasch drawing with his final stone. Needs full 8-foot, maybe a little bite of the 4 would be nice. Pick up his single point. Pressure just off and on cleaning. No real line to watch here. They will guide this one in right to the corner of the button. Colton Flasch picks up his single point here in the 4th end of play. Closes to within 3-2. Yanagisawa will have last rock when we come back for the 5th.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
We truly believe that this is an opportunity to partner within a sport that is emerging. It's getting stronger and stronger every year, and the continued success of teams like yourselves really helps to elevate not only the sport but also those companies that are involved with you.
We love being part of community events and community participation, everything from golf to hockey to curling to supporting teams like Team Flash. It's right in our wheelhouse, and it's allowed us to grow our company significantly, which for positive reasons means we've got to grow our plant as well. So we are going into a large expansion on our current site and we will be expanding the brewery's capacity, almost doubling it, and at the same time increasing our efficiency. So we'll be using less water, less energy to make the same great beer.
Well, a slight miscue here to start things off in the fifth end. The attempt at the center guard slides into the top 8 foot now with a 1-point lead and last rock. Yanagisawa able to play that stone, makes the hit, rolls to the corner. Colton Flasch will ask for another center guard here. Trailing by 1 without last rock, he's going to have to force the play a little bit. They have been very good at putting pressure on their opposition all week long, albeit they've been doing it from the lead. Having to come from behind here if they're going to pull out this semifinal. Center guard made. Now Yanagisawa looking to bring another stone into the opposite corner. Splitting the rings here. He's content to blank this fifth end if he could. He'll take the cheap deuce. He just doesn't want a lot of guards in play. Russia's really going to have to go to get this one into the rings. Does grab a piece of the 12 foot. Nice job by the brushers. So Colton Flasch looking to hit and roll back to the center. Playing the wide one first. It's a shorter roll if they play the stone in the 8 foot, but playing this one first because they do want to also get those blue stones a little bit closer together if they have to try to bail out of this end later on. Makes the hit, but a little thin on the contact, and the shooter is going to roll past the center guard. Does hang on back of the 12 foot for second shot. See just all of that stone, so they're going to make a play on it. The hit, does roll under cover himself. It's Yanagisawa sitting 2 and Colton Flasch not wanting any part of a blank in. Gonna call for the draw here. Probably can't get right down to the face of that blue stone, but anything in the back house in that neighborhood somewhere. Won't be able to get at you directly. The center guard will have you protected. Be a chance of a jam somewhere along the line. Like to get this back a little bit deeper. They want this one behind the tee line if they could. It is shot rocked and is buried, so Yanagisawa going to make a play on the center guard. Just straight peel here. You might see Colton Flasch guard this a couple of times and then You'll have a decision to make later on in the end. Do you guard this for your life and try to steal? Or do you play the double somewhere near the end, perhaps even on your last stone, sit 2 and try to get the force? Third stones now, Catlin Schneider. He'll look to replace that guard. He'll replace it. You expect Yanagisawa to keep peeling it, and I would think that's at least 2 more shots like that, maybe 3. Nice job by the brushers bringing that far enough to make sure they cover the shot stone. Yanagisawa looking at perhaps making a play around the guard. The ball coming from the other end. Just peel it. Didn't think he'd be tempted to go around the center quite this early. That is part of the decision-making process, though, for Colton Flasch. How many guards can you afford to throw before he might decide to make a play in the rings? And if you leave him something in the rings, he might have a chance to get as many as 3 this end. That could almost be the end of the game. Looks like they're playing one more guard. No thinking about it here. Make the guard perfect. There's not much chance he's going to play to the stone in the rings just yet. Better line on the guard this time. Doesn't really leave him anything to even think about maybe coming down to it. So they're going to straight peel the guard one more time. Makes the peel, rolls the shooter out of play as well. Now is going to be the time when Colton Flasch has to make the decision. Leaning towards a split on the red stones. Try to bring the stone that's in the back, or in the front of the forefoot right now, to the back on the open side and roll the shooter in between the 2 blues. Talking as well about just the hit and roll. Don't worry about the double. Don't mind leaving that one at the back for the possibility of jam. You see Catlin Schneider talking about where you could roll to if you roll to the center line like that, or pardon me, the T line like that. Any double attempt jams on the back blue one. Talk about hit the blue stone and roll towards the right side as we look at it from the hack end, the left side from the overhead. That's probably an attempt at the double and roll. Looks like most of the discussions are about the hit and roll on the top stone. They seem to have gone away from the idea to split their own stone. Little split on the red was Colton's first thought. Looks like he's coming back to it now. We know it'll be a team decision when they decide what they're going to play here. Also now considering perhaps the angle tap on the stone at the top of the forefoot, tap it towards the freeze at the back. That would roll your shooter probably to the other side of the center line. Again, probably doesn't leave a double. Well, his first thought was to come down across the face of his own, try to bump it back a little bit and roll in between the two blues, and it looks like that's what he's sticking with. They covered all the options here, and they're not prepared to give Yanagisawa a chance to blank, so trying to put a second rock in a position, and because they don't want a big end against them, they just have to make sure not to leave a double with this. Rushers are going to have to wait for the line on this one a little bit. Starting to curl. Seem to want to go for weight, though. He wants to bump this back for sure. He's got to chisel in behind. Leave these too close together, it would leave a double. I think he's close. Makes the chip and maybe just a little bit light. Didn't have enough weight to really move that stone. Has probably left the double. A couple of ways that Yanagisawa can play it. He can. First instinct is to hit the outside edge of his own, drive it into the red, and of course both reds should fly. If he loses his shooter, Colton Flasch will have a decision to make. He could play the double on the blues and just try to get the blank. If the blue stays right there, he might also decide to loop one around, freeze that back stone, and maybe get the force. For Yanagisawa, as long as he hits this stone on the outside, probably makes both reds fly. Now, if he does curl up and get the nose of the blue, the middle red might not go very far. And boy, they are sweeping for line. Catches them both, drives it across the top of the stone at the back, and it is. Yanagisawa sitting two. There is room for Colton Flasch to freeze on that back stone and be shot rock. And that's the call. Had the draw on his last attempt. Was looking for a little bit of a tap, maybe a little bit short. He's going to need a little bit more weight on this one. Has to get right down to that stone. Doesn't want to move it though either. He needs to leave it in a spot where if Yanagisawa decides to play it and jams it, you're still shot over the one that's at the top of the 8-foot right now. So Colton Flasch with his final stone here in end number 5, trailing by 1, facing 2 and looking for a freeze to perhaps set up either a steal or at least a force. This is going to have to curl. Weight's really close. But I had to wait on that a little bit to curl, and doesn't get quite the line he needed and left a little bit of separation. Room for Yanagisawa to make a hit on this. Even if he's right on the nose, kills his own, it's 2. There's probably room to hit it just a little bit broomside as they're looking at it there and get 3. Anywhere on the broom side at all, he's got 2. If he can hold the shooter, it's for 3. Does have to take a little bit of tighter ice. Doesn't want to risk hitting his own on the top of the 8-foot. And by taking the tighter ice, he's going to probably throw a little bit more weight. Now, if you roll out, you still got a deuce, and that would give you a 3-point lead. But a chance for 3 here for Riku Yanagisawa. Final stone in the 5th end. Picked up 3 in the 3rd, looking to do it again here in the 5th. Makes the hit. Does pass it by the one in the back. His shooter rolls over full 8 and put 3 more points on the board for Riku Yanagisawa. He's now got a 6-2 lead over Colton Flasch after 5 ends of play.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
The reason we trust Western Sales with our business is the people. I'm sure that there's 100 years experience coming out of that shop. We trust them because we do a CMI on our combine and on our tractor. When our equipment comes out of Western Sales, it's going to be good, because if it's not, they send us another combine, they send us another tractor. And we're not naive to the fact that that probably costs them a lot of money. So we just know that the service that we're getting at Western Sales is above par to everybody else.
Sixth end just underway. Sean Joyce here with you live from the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. Riku Yanagisawa from Japan. A couple of big shots in this game. Has scored a 3 in the 3rd, another 3 in 5. He's jumped out to a 6-2 lead over previously unbeaten Colton Flasch, and the Flasch team is going to have to pull out all stops here now to get back into this game. 3 ends left to play, needing 4 points. Need to try to score at least a deuce here, just to put yourself in a situation where you need to steal 7, 8, and an extra end. Through the tight corner guard on the first one. First indication was they were going to play the corner on the other side here. Looks like that's what they stuck with. They talked about both of them. So going to play a second corner guard, other side of the house. Looking for a little bit of curl here. They'd like to get that off the center line, a little bit wider. Yanagisawa now looking for a second one into the rings. Comes down, sits right on top of the shot rock. Colton Flasch now looking at perhaps doing something with those two in the middle right now. Indicated either the nose hit or the roll behind the corner. Either one is good. You could stay frozen on this. You're not going to get the second blue one out anyway. Makes the hit. Does kill the backstone. Wouldn't have minded if that would have hung around the back of the 12-foot. Stays corner frozen on the stone at the top four, and now Yanagisawa is going to start peeling guards. Makes the hit. The shooter does roll away. Colton now going to look to come behind the corner guard. Kevin Marsh looking to bury around that corner. Rushers have been on this most of the way down. Well, they dragged that as far as they could. Gets full 12-foot. Probably about 2/3 behind cover. Yamaguchi being asked to make a play on that stone that was just delivered. I think the indication was if we're a little tight, we clip the corner guard, we might come in and break up these two in the 4-foot as well. That ice, probably not throwing real big weight here. He needs some finish around that guard. Probably something in a bumper weight type range. I saw one brusher indicate this might be a little on the quiet side. They jumped the sweep right away. He's not going to get by the front one. Kills the guard. His shooter does come across and breaks up the angle on those two in the middle. That's a good plan B. Colton Flasch thinking, well, now we've got to come down and break up the angle on the blue-red combination right now. Goes by. Not looking to kill anything here, just wants to change some angles. Catlin Schneider with his first stone here in the 6th end. Rushers were on this. Needs to hit that blue stone fairly thick so that he doesn't roll over and leave some kind of double. Actually going to go right by it, tap the back one. Well, not the way they had it drawn up, but it actually accomplishes something similar because the blue-red combination is now lined up to the stone at the back of the 4-foot. And still no obvious doubles there, so that works for them. Yamaguchi making his way down to check the angles himself. The initial indication seems to be the favored call here. Hit the stone at the edge of the forefoot, right by the tee line, and try to flop underneath. See if you can't put these rocks in a situation where Colton Flasch has to start moving things. Looking to get to the inside of the nose here. Pass it by his own blue stone at the back of the forefoot. Roll the shooter in. This is close. It's going to over curl just a little bit. Boy, that might have curled more than he would have liked. By rolling that far, you've left Colton Flasch perhaps a chance to freeze to the inside of that stone, and you won't be able to get it out. Any attempt to hit it is going to go into the other stone on the blue stone at the back forefoot. Discussion there between Cal and Schneider in the front end. You have to think that's all about what's the weight that I need in this particular path. And the brushers jump it right out of his hand. Wants to be right down to the face of this stone, perhaps just ever so slightly on the inside corner. They're going to have to go just to get by the two at the top of the forefoot. They get by, little chip on the blue stone, and the shooter ends up back button, sitting shot rock for now. Looking at the blue-red combination at the top, they're playing that hit. The question will be whether or not anything jams at the back. It really depends how you hit it. If you're off the nose, either way, you're going to get a little bit of drag. But if you're right on the beak, it looks like the two reds might be the only two that leave the rings. Yanagisawa, first stone of the sixth end. He's got a 4-point lead. Looking to double out the Colton Flasch stones off the forefoot. Makes the hit. Catches the two reds. Does lose one of the blue. That actually won't hurt his feelings at all. They were both behind the tee line. And now sits 3. Colton Flasch looking at what he might be able to do to perhaps have a chance to bring that red stone at the edge of the 12-foot back into play. In order to do that, probably has to hit the blue right beside it now. Try to roll his shooter back towards the middle. You'd love to be able to play this with quieter weight and try for the deeper roll, but the problem with that is to get the deeper roll, you have to hit it a little thinner. You hit it a little thinner, it's going to touch the red stone and probably doesn't leave the rings. You need to get it out far enough that that red stone right beside it is sitting 3rd or 4th, depending where your shooter ends up. Waiting for this to curl, has to get to the inside. Can't stay right there and leave him another double. Starting to curl now. Makes the hit by the red stone. Shooter's going to roll over and right in between the two blues, and that is a tough stone to remove. Yanagisawa might have to play the long double across the house. Might be his only chance to get that stone out. For Colton Flasch, probably the best he could do there. Unfortunately, if they make this double, you might be shaking hands. They have been so good at these all day today. But it is, there's 6 feet between those rocks. Those are never a gimme. And if he doesn't make the double, you've got your chance here for 2. Jump the sweep right away. This is going to overcurl. Makes the hit. Now, how far can he roll across? Over the top of the red stone, pushes it back onto the blue. Leaves Colton Flasch sitting 1. Chance to draw for his 2 points here. This is what he needed to keep himself in the game. Get your 2 in 6. You're down 2 playing 7. He'll have to play for some steals, but you can steal 1 point at a time. You just have to do it 3 times, and everybody's got a playbook for stealing 1. First things first, Colton Flasch with his final stone in the 6th end. Needs to bite 4-foot to pick up his deuce. Pressure's just off and on cleaning. This is the same draw he threw in the 4th end to pick up his single. Maybe just a little strong here. Is this one going to stop in time? And no, it's going to slide too far. It'll be a score of 1 for Colton Flasch. Now he trails 6-3 after 6 ends of play, and I think they're going to have a quick discussion about whether or not to carry on. Well, he set down the broom that he throws with, so it looks like they're going to continue on, try to steal a deuce somewhere along the way. Yanagisawa with a 6-3 lead over Colton Flasch after 6 ends.
We truly believe that this is an opportunity to partner within a sport that is emerging. It's getting stronger and stronger every year, and the continued success of teams like yourselves really helps to elevate not only the sport but also those companies that are involved with you.
We love being part of community events and community participation, everything from golf to hockey to curling to supporting teams like Team Flasch. It's right in our wheelhouse, and it's allowed us to grow our company significantly, which for positive reasons means we've got to grow our plant as well. So we are going into a large expansion on our current site, and we will be expanding the brewery's capacity, almost doubling it, and at the same time increasing our efficiency. So we'll be using less water, less energy to make the same great beer.
Seventh end underway here. First stone thrown as the center guard, and looks like Yanagisawa going to try the tick here in the seventh end. Colton Flasch on the brush, not able to get it through the house, but it does hang on for a bite. Saving grace there for Colton Flasch. Of course, you need to steal two somewhere along the way, and a little biter like that, if it comes down to the end of the end and perhaps you're sitting three, a little bit of a mistake might get you your chance for two. For now, they're going to play a guard on top of the blue stone that's a corner guard right now, but you need to put this stone in a position where that one can't be peeled. Not going to get the line they were looking for here. Free guard zone, you can peel your own stone out of play. Not critical that he gets that red stone on the side, but you can see Riku just checking out the angle, so he's aware of it. A little bonus if you could catch that one on the way by. All you're really worried about here is peeling the guard. Now, an offside sweep here, maybe trying to make sure they make contact. Touches it over, but now protecting a little bit more of the forefoot. Maybe thinking a little too much about pushing it towards that red stone and not enough about just making sure you get rid of it. Colton Flasch now asking for the second corner guard, pardon me, second center guard, tighter in line with that long red one. Just slides that into the rings and over curls a little bit at the end. There's probably room to pick it clean. Being in the rings doesn't hurt you. Rocking a 12-foot can still be used as a guard. It's leaving it exposed. The long guard by itself isn't really protecting much. You want to get that tighter guard in, dead in behind it, so they have to peel the long one. Looks like they're not prepared to take the risk of coming by and just rubbing something, so they're going to peel the long one anyway. And peeling it towards the blue stone that's outside of the rings, or perhaps even the red over on the edge of the 12-foot. A little bit of risk here that you could jam something. Actually puts it between the blue and the red. Shooter stays in play as a corner guard as well. Surprised they played it that way at all, to be honest. They could have just straight peeled it the other direction. Colton Flasch will ask for another center guard now. You want to line this up to the stone in the top of the 12-foot. Would have liked this to stay a little bit higher. Came in a little tight. Now there might be an opportunity to double off the two reds touching the center line. Still roll the shooter away. Looking at the double peel on the guards as well. Clip about half on the red stone, come across, get the top of your own blue corner, push it through the back and spin all the way to the edge. Makes the hit, comes across, just over the top of the blue stone. Shooter will roll all the way out of play. So another chance to play that center guard a little bit higher. Still has a lot of room here. He'd like to get this in line to the stone that's at the top of the 12. So if they're sweeping now, they're sweeping that offside sweep, try to get a little bit extra curl. Covers half of it. Yanagisawa looking at making the play on the shot in the rings now. Might be able to make the double. Across the house to the other little biter. Hack in seeing the run-through double. The guard is probably the more dangerous stone at this point in time. You do have to be careful playing these doubles. You don't want to just jam something, though. You won't change the situation that much. We'll pass this one again between all the other rocks. Shooter rolls out of play. Thought you might see Colton play at least one more guard. He's talking about perhaps coming around the blue one now. Looks like that's the call. Some discussion there briefly, I think, about coming around from the other side. Of course, you bury this one behind the blue stone, and I guess what you're hoping is that Yanagisawa tries to play the angle slash blue guard onto the red at the top of the 12-foot, and maybe in making that, he spins it back and covers your shot rock. First things first, you got to bury this one. Don't think there's any chance he ever plays the straight back run through. That room by the blue one, still on the red, gets by it. Will come to rest, corner of the 4-foot, and that is dead in behind cover. If anything, maybe came out just a hair the other side. Talked briefly about the straight back run through, but had to expect he was going to play this angle blue onto the red at the top of the 12-foot. Now, the only way you could get in trouble with this is there is the possibility, if you jam it a little too solid, you could spin it back and cover that stone at the corner of the 4-foot. That's what Colton Flasch is hoping for. Of course, the other thing is, if you hit this just right, and Yamaguchi has done that a number of times today, you catch the back end of that red stone, carry the blue right through, and you might kill shot rock as well. It's close, makes the hit, catches the back end of it actually a little too thin, and goes straight back. Boy, just barely gets the red one out of the rings. Does what he needed it to do, clears the center. Came within a whisker of killing shot stone as well. Colton Flasch now looking at, I'll be shocked if they don't guard shot rock right now, talking about perhaps splitting the rings, but you need to make sure you've got a chance to steal one here. Yes, you do need to steal a deuce at some point in time, but hard to think you're going to steal two in an end where you don't have a center guard to work with. A number of players have taken a look at that red stone. It was just slid over there. Again, those little biters around the outside could matter. If you leave Yanagisawa hit with his last one and he ever happened to roll out. And when you're three down without, those are the kinds of things you're looking for. Anything like that where a little half shot mistake could perhaps let you right back in the game. Looking to guard the shot stone here. Probably don't even mind if you leave him half. If you could tempt him to go after it, roll out, you could bury a little bit better one. Thinking about the draw. Have to believe the only reason he's thinking about the draw is because there could be two biters around. They're taking a look at it again. From the overhead, certainly looks to be out, but again, the overhead's over the pinhole, not right over top of the rock. Even saw them take a look at the back just to see if they could try to decide if the rings were right on. Are they a little back? Are they a little forward? Might make a difference here. In the end, they're going to peel the corner guard. Colton Flasch will have to cover it again, but he might try to nibble the rings this time. It would be at least 3, possibly 4. Makes the hit, rolls the shooter out. So for Colton Flasch, really, you need to put this in about the same spot. Sweep it about 6 inches deeper so it just nibbles the 12-foot. Yanagisawa wouldn't be able to play the double without leaving you sitting at least 1. And again, it depends on whether or not that stone on the left side of the overhead is biting or not. Not really much there to discuss. They did just talk about it. Is there any other place we could put this rock? He is definitely sitting 2, and that third one might be a biter. So part of the discussion could be, well, if we happen to just pull up short of the rings, do we think he draws, or do you think he just hit the open one and give us one? Really needs to try to just nibble the rings here, and that's probably more on the sweepers than it is on the thrower. You don't want to pull the back end of this stone into the rings. And he tries the double, knowing that he's going to give up no more than a single point. Needs to curl just a little bit. He's got nice line coming in. Now, can they just bite the top of the 12? Well, I think that's pretty good now. May not have covered enough of the back stone. It's just fully exposed. Would have liked to have curled maybe a couple inches more. You don't mind leaving him a piece to tease him. If he rolls out, of course, you know you've stolen at least 2. Not going to be throwing a lot of weight here. Yanagisawa, final stone here of the 7th end. 3-point lead on Colton Flasch. Facing at least 3. Looking for the nose hit. Brusher's picking it up for line now. Can't afford to rub the stone that was just delivered. Gets by, makes the hit, stays right there. That's a single point for Yanagisawa. And with a 7-3 lead, Flash team discussing again. Do we throw him back or shake hands? And the decision comes, it's handshakes. Yanagisawa only lost 2 games in the preliminary round, lost to Steve Laycock and again to Colton Flasch in his opening game, and has played both of those 2 teams in the playoffs so far. Picked up wins over both teams, and that'll move him into the final. Colton Flasch, a strong weekend here for their team. Good first event for them. Second event, actually. I guess they played in Switzerland. But after 5-0 in the preliminary round, they bow out here in the semifinal. I want to thank everyone for joining us here this afternoon. My name is Sean Joyce. Hope you'll join us again for the finals later on this afternoon.
We truly believe that this is an opportunity to partner within a sport that is emerging. It's getting stronger and stronger every year. And, you know, the continued success of teams like yourselves really helps to elevate not only the sport, but also those companies that are involved with you.
We love being part of community events and community participation, everything from golf to hockey to curling to supporting teams like Team Flash. It's right in our wheelhouse, and it's allowed us to grow our company significantly, which for positive reasons means we've got to grow our plant as well. So we are going into a large expansion on our current site, and we will be expanding the brewery's capacity, almost doubling it, and at the same time increasing our efficiency. So we'll be using less water, less energy to make the same great beer.